It became known why support for 120 FPS in older games is much easier for Xbox Series X than for PS5. The developers of the Psyonix studio, whom we know well thanks to the popular arcade game Rocket League, gave an interview to the respected publication Eurogamer. Many issues were discussed, among which special attention was paid to the problem of activating 120 FPS on the next generation consoles. Psyonix explained why PS4 versions of many games do not receive 120 FPS operational support on the PlayStation 5, unlike the Xbox Series X. If you remember, a couple of days ago we wrote that in Warzone, the 120 frames per second mode was promptly added for a new device from Microsoft, while everything remained the same for the next-gen console from Sony. The answer is obvious: on Xbox Series X, it's much easier to do. Just at times. It turns out that for PlayStation 5, when transferring a game from PS4, every time you need to create a separate port of the game, since this is how backward compatibility works on Sony consoles. And 120 FPS on Xbox Series and older games is provided with a small patch, and that's it. At the moment, there are only a handful of games on the PlayStation 5 with support for 120 FPS. In fact, there are only 3 of them so far: Dirt 5, Borderlands 3 and Rainbow Six Siege. Eurogamer has a technical department called Digital Foundry, whose specialists separately commented on the situation with 120 FPS on the PS5, but nothing new and unique was said here. Yes, on the Xbox, support for 120 frames was actively promoted even before the Xbox Series, but the only game where this was implemented before the release of the next gen was Rainbow Six Siege. As for the PlayStation 5, the future of the high frame rate mode is entirely up to Sony. Whether it will provide developers with new tools to accelerate the transfer of PS4 games to 120 FPS, we'll find out later.